What's up, everybody? It's your boy, your weird little man, David. Just that here. And just like always, I was just minding my business scrolling through YouTube until I found this one video, and you know, I tasted the pot a little bit, and it has like 10 different spices of interesting. To go ahead and cut to the chase, this one guy is making this like UFC for robots. I know you're probably already intrigued, so here's the clip.
It was always going to come to this. Robot fights in San Francisco. Over the past couple of months, semi-secret, invite-only battles have been taking place in a downtown parking garage. We managed to get the first exclusive look at the mayhem. It's bot versus bot, with human pilots off to the side, and a rabid crowd frothing for robot carnage. It can be exciting and fun at times. It can also be farcical and underwhelming. But it's happening, and there's a dude who thinks he can take these robot battles mainstream. And his name is Six.
Dude, we're already knee-dick deep in the fucking cyberpunk, dude. Firstly, it starts off with this robot with a GIMP mask on. Very kinky, by the way. Then we get to see Drake in robot form right here, bound to duke it out with some other robot. Then we get to see a fucking Roomba that has like a leg attached to it, collecting fucking dollar bills on the floor. I wasn't joking when I said this, man. This looks like a location in like Cyberpunk 2077. Like, this looks like a location you have to go to figure out how to get the Ghost of Johnny Silverhand out of your neural link. Then you got this guy who like modified like a flamethrower to his robot. And you know, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yeah, nothing crazy will ever happen and it accidentally like combusts in flames or some shit. But to give you a quick debrief, this guy is named Six, and he has a little factory in San Francisco. He wants to turn robot fighting into a huge sport. Now, before the moon comes out and I turn into a negative Nancy werewolf who's bound to eat the shit nuggets out of an Edwards pie. You know, that was a cool, like, throwback to Hot Topic. Anyway, is it a cool idea? And of course, yes, of godly, yes. There is something inside of me that clicks on my primal brain to see two robots fight with flamethrowers. But the thing about it is it's like, okay, well, how many people do show up to these robot events? And is it enough to make profit? And in my opinion, I don't really think it's worth it, because most of these like new robots that are out nowadays like cost almost like $100,000. But let's go ahead and show more of the clip.
And Six is your real name?
Six is my real name. It was legally name changed about 12 years ago now. And so the internet was my outlet to connect with people. And I got really big into MMOs and online, role-playing games. I kind of became a leader through that online medium because I didn't have an outlet to do that in real life. You know, Six was this like courageous, character that could take on the world. In real life, I was just kind of lame. And when I came out to California, I had identity theft, and they told me basically the only way I can get around that is to legally change my name or to freeze my credit for the rest of my life. And they said the change your name thing kind of as a joke, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna become this online character.
I don't know, I understand the whole like change the name kind of thing because of the whole identity theft. But to take on your online username is kind of weird to me, you know? It would be like if I took the name Just That and like I made it legally like my name. That would be like a fucking headache. Cause like you can be going to the bank and it's like, okay, what's your name? Just That. Well, I mean, is there anything else? I mean, it's just that. No, it's just that. Yeah, I know it's just that, but there's just nothing there. It's just that. Yeah, that's the whole fucking point. It's just that. I wonder if he like gets like the same response. Like, does he go into the bank and they're like, okay, what's your name? It's like Six, and they're like, are you sure it's just like not Ronald or like Benjamin or something? Honestly, in my opinion, you look like a Ronald. But to each his own, I suppose. Hey, maybe in the next like decade or the next 2 decades, maybe people will start using their like usernames as like their real names. The first person to change their name to XXX Pussy Destroyer XXX is the day I will be laughing my ass off. Like, just imagine it, you go to the bank and it's just like you're trying to get a loan. Okay, Mr. XXX Pussy Destroyer XXX, you're finally settled to start a bank loan.
Gaming world, the VR world, you have all these thoughts going
Yeah.
around in your head. And then, yeah, how do you sort of end up here with the idea for this company?
You know, so I started to see these videos of people teleoping humanoids. And then I kind of do the thing where like, you know, are we close to an inflection point, or is this going to be like the standard thing in tech where people get hyped out, but you know, it doesn't actually happen. And so I bought a 100,000, so this guy over here, this older one, but the same model as this, $100,000. My mom at the time, I was like, Mom, do I get a house or do I get these robots? And she's like, please, please get a house. You need to grow up. And I was like, fuck it, I'm getting these big ass robots.
Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose in asking someone else? I mean, if you were already that dead set that you was gonna buy some robots over a probably a good looking house, then what was the whole point of asking? You could have bought a bunch of robots and maybe a little pack of Brick Army Legos.
New Robot Day.
It took about 2 months to get it. They told me when I received it that I was the first person at a residence that got one of these robots.
Instead of like a university.
Instead of a university of an
company or
R&D
something.
lab, they
Yeah.
were like, what the fuck is this guy doing with this $100,000 robot? The thing is I felt there was something there, but I had to like just figure it out. So I just started posting about it. About, 6.5 months ago, I took a picture of it and I was like, I just bought this humanoid that costs as much as a luxury car. What do I do with it? And everybody who responded was basically like, you need to fight it or you need to fuck it.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If I spend $100,000 on a robot, then it absolutely needs to learn how to suck and blow. Because that would be the only reason I would spend that much money. Even though I think the two options that the internet gave them was completely hilarious, deep down we know it's true. Because, like I said before, if I'm gonna spend that much money on it, I might as well be happy while doing it.
Robot fights in the US kicked off a couple months ago. They're being run by the Ultimate Fighting Bots, or UFB League. They mostly use these child-sized machines from a Chinese company called Booster Robotics. Six took first place in the initial event, and then became a Joe Rogan-type announcer figure in the second. The UFB founders have done the most so far to get this going as a sport. Six's vision, though, is even grander. He wants to make robots that have much more sophisticated moves, and he wants to create a mainstream combat sport.
So a very similar thing that I recognize here, which is, hey, this is really, really cool, but how big is this market? How many people have humanoids in the United States? Maybe a few hundred? So how do we create value or interest in this space when it's such a constrained market? The first concept we're doing of this is actually going to be using VR headsets for three things. It's going to be the end user inside, it's going to be the robot with a VR headset, and it's going to be the spectator who's controlling the camera view so they can see the holograms and everything, literally like using this like a selfie stick.
Alright, in all fairness, that does sound pretty cool. Which, what this means is you could technically fight anyone. It could be old and young people, it could be men and women, it could be anything, because at that point body type doesn't matter. But I think the huge elephant in the room that no one is not talking about in this video is this kind of concept on, well, if you keep knocking down a $100,000 robot, I mean, at some point it's going to break, right? And this is why I keep on saying that this is a huge gamble. Because at some point, the more you keep on using this $100,000 and that $100,000, you're not going to have enough to get another $100,000 robot. And not even that, you might not even have enough money to run the whole damn show.
Animation that looks like a punch, that's very cinematic and looks real.
Okay.
What we'll probably end up doing is a combination of those two things.
Okay, and then the balance part seems,
Yeah, it's actually very complicated to keep these robots upright.
because they kind of, it's not like they want to fall down, but they can fall down relatively easily.
Yeah,
The results so far can be modest and also horrifying.
Well, that's $10,000 down the shitter. It's time to go back to the bank and get another loan.
But getting much cooler quickly. To get from this will require some major technology advancements and some major theater. Sport unique.
It would be the first contact sport that's equal. You could have men versus women. You could have young people versus old people. You could have people from anywhere. It would be the first contact sport where you don't have to worry about the weight classes of the people. And you could still get a similar level of that, physical connection that you get to the players as if it was a contact sport.
What's my final conclusion on this? I think it's very cool that we've gotten to this point where we can do this kind of stuff. But I think the way robots are right now, it's a huge just gamble if it's going to work or not. Because it sounds like a lot of money coming in and not a lot of money going into the bank account. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get to the point where robots are, like, more balanceable and, like, they're a lot cheaper. Like, maybe in the future we can buy a robot for, like, $1,000, right? That's the only way I could see, like, a UFB being able to, like, sustain itself. Or the company that we watched was like Rec, I think. But tell me what you think about all this baloney. And other than that, that's pretty much it. Like, comment, subscribe, skiddly bubbly boop. I'm out.